Fake HOA cops Viper strikes. Chaos goats face a deadly stranger. HOA Karen Files, EP 5-inch. Hey y'all, welcome back to HOA Karen Files. I'm Jack Callahan. And if you thought the drama with Echelon Group was over after we nabbed Harrow in episode 4, well, you're dead wrong. Today, we're diving into a whole new chapter of mystery. A mysterious stranger called me up, claiming he knows all about Echelon and Madam V, the mastermind behind every scheme targeting the Midwest. He wants to meet me in Columbus, but I've got no clue if this guy's a friend or a trap. With my Chaos Goats, my Sheriff Big Brother Luke, and the whole Midwest Alliance by my side, I'm ready to face whatever comes my way. But this time, the enemy might be more dangerous than ever. Help me keep my spirits up by smashing that like button right now. It's like Maggie head-butting Echelon right in the gut. Drop a comment below, take a wild guess who this mysterious stranger might be, and don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss a single second of this drama. Let's dive in. After that call from the mysterious stranger, I couldn't shake this uneasy feeling in my gut. He said he knew about Echelon Group and Madam V, the one pulling the strings behind every plot against the Midwest, from Maxwell Ridge to Harrow. He told me to meet him in Columbus at the Blue Jay Cafe, Wednesday at 3 p.m. sharp. But I didn't know a darn thing about this guy. He could be an ally, or he could be a trap set by Echelon to lure me away from the Midwest. After everything we've been through, Karen, Veronica, Maxwell, and Jenna Cole, I couldn't take any chances, but I also couldn't pass up the chance to get the truth. I called Luke first thing the next morning, filling him in on the call. Luke, some guy calling himself a mysterious stranger says he knows about Echelon and Madam V. He wants to meet me in Columbus, but I don't know if I should trust him. Luke, his voice low and serious, shot back. Jack, I don't like the sound of this. Echelon just hit Grace's farm, and now you're running off to meet some random dude? If this is a trap, you're walking right into danger. I nodded. I know, but if he's telling the truth, this could be our shot to take down Echelon before they take us down. I need you to come with me. If anything smells fishy, we'll handle it. Luke sighed. All right, Jack, but we're playing this careful. I'm bringing my gun, and I'll get Tara from the Dayton precinct to tag along. I turned to Lily, who was playing with Daisy out in the yard. Lily, I've got to head to Columbus for a couple of days. You stay with your mom, okay? I'll be back soon. Lily hugged me tight. Uncle Jack, you be careful, okay? Me and Daisy will be waiting for you. I ruffled her hair, smiling, but my heart felt heavy. That photo Echelon sent, the one of me and Lily, still haunted me. I couldn't let them get anywhere near her. I turned to Maggie. Maggie, you're in charge of guarding the farm. If Echelon shows up, you know what to do. Maggie let out a loud baa, her curved horns glinting, like she was ready for action. Me, Luke, and Tara hit the road to Columbus that Wednesday morning, a 120-mile drive from the Midwest. The Blue Jay Cafe was tucked away on a quiet street corner, with big glass windows and a few wooden tables outside. We got there early, 2:30 p.m., to scope the place out. Luke and Tara sat at a table near the door, pretending to read the paper, while I took a corner booth facing the entrance. I ordered a black coffee but didn't touch it. I was too on edge to swallow anything. Right at 3 p.m., a man walked in, about 40 years old, short brown hair, wearing a black leather jacket and shades. He scanned the room, then walked straight to my table and sat down. Jack Callahan? I'm the one who called you, but you can call me Ethan. I raised an eyebrow. Ethan, huh? You say you know about Echelon and Madam V. Prove it, or I'm walking out that door right now. Ethan gave a faint smirk, taking off his shades to reveal sharp blue eyes. I used to work for Echelon. I was one of their coordinators, until I saw what they were willing to do to get what they wanted. I bailed 6 months ago, but I've still got intel, and I know they're targeting the Midwest. I nodded. All right, I'm listening. But if you're lying, me and my brother, the cop sitting over there, won't let you off easy. Ethan glanced at Luke and Tara, then nodded. Fair enough. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to help. Ethan pulled a USB drive from his jacket pocket and slid it across the table. This is the data I grabbed before I left Echelon. Emails, plans, and a list of their targets. The Midwest is their first stop, but they're after the whole U.S. AG belt, from Ohio to Nebraska. Madam V runs Echelon's U.S. operations, but she reports to a council in Europe. They don't just want land. They want to control the food supply, force farmers to sell cheap, then build industrial parks and data centers. I felt a chill run down my spine. And Madame V? Who is she? I need to know so I can stop her. Ethan shook his head. I've never met Madame V in person. She always works through video calls or middlemen, like Harrow. But I know she's ruthless. If she's got you in her sights, you don't have much time. I nodded. So why are you helping me? What's in it for you? Ethan looked down at the table, his voice low. I had a farm in Kansas. Echelon took it, forced me to work for them. They threatened my family, just like they did with Jenna Cole. I walked away because I couldn't keep doing it, but I want payback. If you stop Echelon, I might get back what I lost. I looked into Ethan's eyes. I saw honesty, but also fear. I nodded. All right, Ethan. I'll check out this data, but if you're lying, you'll regret it. Ethan nodded back. I get it, Jack. But you need to move fast. Echelon won't wait long. I left the cafe with Luke and Tara, the USB in my hand. On the drive back, I called Cody. Cody, I've got a USB from a guy named Ethan. He says he used to work for Echelon. Can you check it out? Cody, never without his Red Bull, replied. Jack, send it over. I'll dig into it right away. But if this guy's legit, we might have a big advantage. I nodded. I hope so, Cody. Because if not, we just walked into a trap. Back at the Midwest, I looked at Maggie and the goats out in the yard. I muttered, Maggie, what do you think of Ethan? Friend or foe? Maggie let out a bah, like she wasn't sure. I wasn't sure either, but I knew, to protect the Midwest, I had to find out the truth, no matter how dangerous it got. After meeting Ethan in Columbus, I got back to the Midwest with the USB in my pocket, but my mind was a mess. Ethan claimed he used to work for Echelon Group, and the data on this USB could help us figure out their plans, but I couldn't fully trust him. He might be an ally, or he might be another pawn of Madame V, sent to lure me into a trap. After everything we'd been through, from Karen, Veronica, Maxwell, to Jenna Cole, I couldn't take any risks, but I also couldn't ignore the chance to get the dirt on Echelon. I called the team over to my place that night. Luke, Grace, Sarah, Ellie, and Dawn. I plugged the USB into Dawn's laptop, and we all gathered around the kitchen table, eyes glued to the screen. Luke, still in his cop uniform, frowned. Jack, you sure this USB is safe? If Ethan's working for Echelon, this could be a virus, or worse, a way to track us. Dawn, clutching the laptop, nodded. Luke's got a point. I'll run a scan first. If anything's off, we'll know right away. I nodded. Do it, Dawn. We can't take any chances. Dawn scanned the USB. No viruses, no malware. He opened the data, and a flood of files popped up. Emails, maps, target lists, and internal Echelon Group documents. Grace, holding her coffee mug, leaned in. Jack, look at this. An email from Madame V to Harrow before we nabbed him. It says, the Midwest is the first target. Put pressure on the farmers, divide them, and buy their land cheap. If they resist, move to phase 2, direct sabotage. Damn it. These jerks have been planning this for a while. Sarah, her eyes red, said, Jack, they don't just want our land. They want to control everything. If they pull this off in the Midwest, no one can stop them. I scrolled through more files, a map marking AG regions across the U.S., from Ohio to Nebraska, with notes, priority targets, Midwest, Kansas, Iowa. Projected completion, 2026. A list of Echelon's assets, people like Maxwell Ridge, Harrow, and even Jenna Cole, was there, with notes, use family pressure to control. Ellie, her backward baseball cap on, slammed her hand on the table. I can't believe this. They've got a whole system to manipulate people. Jenna wasn't the only one they forced. There are dozens like her. Luke nodded. Jack, if this data's real, we could use it to sue Echelon, or at least warn other regions. I nodded, but another file made my blood run cold. An email from Madame V to someone named Mr. K, saying, Callahan is the biggest threat. If he doesn't stop, eliminate him. Use any means necessary. I turned to Luke. Luke, they're coming for me, and maybe Lily too. We've got to act fast. Grace raised her shotgun. If they show up here, me and Maggie will give him hell. Maggie, hearing her name, let out a bah, making the group chuckle a bit, but the air was still heavy. I called Cody right after, sending him the data. Cody, I've got data from a guy named Ethan. He says he used to work for Echelon. Can you check it out? We need to know if anything's fishy. Cody, with his green hair and ever-present Red Bull, typed furiously. Jack, this data looks legit. Emails, maps, lists, it all matches what I've dug up on Echelon Holdings. But there's one file that's encrypted. I'll need some time to crack it. And Jack, if Ethan's telling the truth, he could be an ally. But if he's lying, you're being played. I nodded. I know, Cody. Work as fast as you can. We don't have much time. While Cody got to work, I turned to the team. Y'all, this data gives us an edge. We know where Echelon's aiming and how they operate. But we can't fully trust Ethan. He might be an Echelon spy, sent to lead us into a trap. Sarah asked, Jack, if Ethan's legit, he could help us. But if he's lying, how do we know? Luke cut in. I've got an idea. I'll run a background check on Ethan. He said he had a farm in Kansas, right? I'll get the Kansas PD to look into it. If he's lying, we'll find out. I nodded. Good, Luke. In the meantime, we need to get ready. If Echelon knows we've got this data, they'll hit harder. Ellie, set up more tripwire traps around Grace and Sarah's farms. We can't let them sabotage us again. Grace, you and Maggie patrol the area. If you spot anything weird, let me know right away. Grace nodded. Got it, Jack. Maggie and I won't let him get the drop on us. Ellie grinned. I bet Maggie'll headbutt a few Echelon goons before we even get a chance. The group laughed, but I couldn't laugh. Not when I knew Madam V had me in her crosshairs. That night, I sat alone on my porch, watching the moonlight hit the fields. I thought about my dad, who left me this farm and everything I'd learned through 5 battles, with Karen, Veronica, Maxwell, Jenna, and now Echelon. I thought each fight was the last, but life in the Midwest never stays quiet for long. My phone rang. It was Luke. He said, his voice tense. Jack, I checked Ethan's background. He's telling the truth. Ethan Carter, 41 years old, used to own a farm in Kansas. Echelon took his land a year ago, and his family, wife and 2 kids, are living in hiding now. But Jack, there's something weird. Echelon sued Ethan for breach of contract, but the case was dropped, no reason given. I don't know if we can trust him. I nodded. Thanks, Luke. If Ethan's legit, he could be an ally. But if he's still working for Echelon, we're in deep trouble. We've got to be careful. I looked out at the fields, muttering. Maggie, what do you think? Should we trust Ethan? Maggie let out a bah, like she wasn't sure. I wasn't sure either, but I knew, to protect the Midwest, I had to find the truth, no matter how dangerous it got. The data from Ethan's USB gave us a leg up. We knew Echelon Group was targeting the entire US AG belt, starting with the Midwest, and Madam V had ordered them to eliminate me if I didn't back off. But I still couldn't fully trust Ethan Carter. He was honest about his farm in Kansas and being forced by Echelon, but that dropped lawsuit made me suspicious. He could be an ally, or just another Echelon pawn sent to lure me into a trap. I didn't have time to second guess, not when Echelon was gearing up for Phase 2, direct sabotage. The next morning, I was checking the tripwires around Grace's farm when Cody called, his voice urgent. Jack, I just cracked the encrypted file on Ethan's USB, and you're not going to like this. It's a detailed Echelon plan called Operation Harvest Fall. They're planning to sabotage the Midwest harvest, specifically corn and wheat, by hiring goons to spray toxic chemicals on the fields. If the harvest fails, farmers will go bankrupt, and Echelon will swoop in to buy the land dirt cheap. Jack, they've already started. The last email says, send the sabotage team to Ohio, starting with Callahan's County, April 10th. I froze. It was April 9th. I called the team together right away. Luke, Grace, Sarah, Ellie, and Don gathered at my place. I said, my voice low. Y'all, Echelon's planning to sabotage the harvest. They're going to spray toxic chemicals on our corn and wheat, starting tomorrow. If we don't stop them, the whole region will go under, and Echelon will win. Grace slammed her fist on the table. Those bastards. If they touch my fields, I'll make 'em eat lead. Ellie jumped in. Jack, we've got to act now. We can patrol the fields, set traps, and catch 'em red-handed. Luke nodded. I'll call in more guys from the Dayton precinct. We need to lock down the area, make sure they can't get in. Sarah, her voice shaky. Jack, If they ruin the harvest, we don't just lose our land. We lose everything. I don't know what we can do. I put a hand on her shoulder. Sarah, we've taken down Karen, Veronica, Maxwell, and Harrow. We can take down Echelon. But we've got to stick together, and we've got to move fast. Dawn said, Jack, I can reach out to other farmers in the neighboring counties. If we warn them, they can help patrol. I nodded. Good, Dawn. Do it. We need all the help we can get. We split up to patrol the fields. Luke and Tara took the north, Grace and Ellie the south, Sarah and Dawn the east, and me and Maggie covered the west, near my farm. That night, it was pitch black, no moon, just my flashlight cutting through the cornfields. Maggie walked beside me, her curved horns glinting, like she could sense the danger. Suddenly, I heard an engine, a small truck, no lights, rolling into Hank Miller's field, about 200 yards away. I whispered, Maggie, you ready? Maggie let out a baa, like she was saying yes. I radioed Luke. Luke, I've got a truck in Hank's field. No lights, looks real suspicious. Get over here now. Luke replied, Got it. Jack, we're on our way. Me and Maggie crept through the field, hiding behind cornstalks, watching. 3 guys in black stepped out of the truck, carrying big spray tanks. I knew right away those were the toxic chemicals Cody mentioned. One of them said, Hurry up, spray this field, then move to the next one. Madam V wants results by dawn. I clenched my jaw. I couldn't let them ruin the harvest. I jumped out, yelling, Stop right there. I know what you're doing. Drop those tanks. The 3 guys froze, turning to me. The leader, a tall guy, smirked. Callahan, you're quick, but you can't stop us. He pulled a gun, but before he could fire, Maggie charged, ramming straight into his legs, sending him crashing to the ground. I lunged forward, punching the second guy in the face, making him drop his tank. The third guy tried to run, but Luke and Tara showed up just in time, cutting him off. Luke shouted, Police! Drop your weapon. Tara cuffed the third guy while me and Luke pinned down the other 2. But right then, the leader's phone rang, a video call. Luke picked it up, and Madam V's cold voice came through. Callahan, you've ruined my plans again. But you can't protect everyone. Not when I know you're working with Ethan Carter. The screen went black, but before it cut off, Madam V said, Ethan, if you're listening, you know the price of betrayal. Note, this is the spot for a 3 to 5 second pause. Black screen, no sound, then resume. I turned to Luke. Luke, Madam V knows about Ethan. She knows he's helping us. If Ethan's legit, he's in danger. Luke nodded. Jack, we've got to find Ethan. If he's an ally, we can't let Echelon get him. But if he's a spy, we need the truth. I nodded, agreed. Let's interrogate these goons, see what they know about Ethan and Madam V. I turned to Maggie. Maggie, you did awesome. You just saved Hank's field. Maggie let out a baa, like she was proud. But I knew, with Madam V aware of Ethan, this drama just got a whole lot more dangerous. After catching those 3 Echelon goons in Hank Miller's field, I knew we'd just stopped a disaster, but the drama wasn't over. Madam V had shown her face through that video call, and she knew Ethan Carter was helping us. If Ethan was really an ally, he was in danger. If he was a spy, we needed the truth before it was too late. I didn't have time to waste, not with Echelon ramping up their game and the Midwest harvest still at risk. Luke and Tara took the 3 goons back to the Dayton precinct for questioning, while me, Ellie, and Grace headed back to my farm to plan. I called Cody right away. Cody, Madam V knows about Ethan. She said he'll pay for betraying her. We've got to find Ethan before Echelon does. Can you trace the number he used to call me? Cody, with his green hair and Red Bull in hand, typed like a madman. Jack, that number's a burner, but I can try tracing it through the carrier. I also dug up more on Ethan. He's in Columbus, at a little motel called the Red Oak Inn, about 5 miles from the Blue Jay Cafe. But Jack, if Madam V knows about him, they might already be there. I nodded. Good work, Cody. Send me the address. We're heading to the Red Oak Inn now. Keep digging on Madam V. I need to know who she is. Cody replied, Got it, Jack. But be careful. If Echelon's after Ethan, they won't hold back. I turned to Ellie and Grace. Ellie, you're coming with me to Columbus. We've got to find Ethan. Grace, you stay with Sarah and Dawn. Keep patrolling the fields. If Echelon sends more sabotage teams, we need to be ready. Grace raised her shotgun. Got it, Jack. Maggie and I will hold down the Midwest. Those punks don't stand a chance. Maggie let out a bah, like she agreed. Me and Ellie drove to Columbus that night, pulling up to the Red Oak Inn at 1 a.m. The motel was small and run down, with just 10 rooms and a flickering neon sign. I banged on the front desk door, and an older lady named Martha opened it, rubbing sleepy eyes. What do you two want? It's late, I said fast. Martha, we're looking for Ethan Carter. What room's he in? This is an emergency. Martha frowned. Ethan Carter, he's in room 6. But 2 guys in black showed up 30 minutes ago. They asked about him, then went straight to his room. I heard a big commotion. I think he's in trouble. Me and Ellie bolted to room 6, my heart pounding. The door was busted open, and inside was a mess. Furniture flipped, bed torn apart, blood splattered on the floor. Ethan wasn't there, but a note was taped to the wall. Callahan, you're too late. Ethan belongs to Echelon. You're next. Ellie whispered. Jack, they've got Ethan, and if they know we're here, we're in danger too. I nodded. I know. We've got to find Ethan. If he's legit, we can't let Echelon kill him. I called Luke right away. Luke, Echelon just grabbed Ethan. We're at the Red Oak Inn in Columbus. They left a note saying he belongs to them. What did you get from those goons? Luke replied. Jack, we just finished questioning them. One guy spilled that Echelon has a secret warehouse on the outskirts of Columbus, used to deal with traitors. He doesn't know the exact address, but he said it's an old warehouse near Route 62, with an eagle logo on the door. Jack, if Ethan's still alive, he might be there, but you've got to be careful. I nodded. Thanks, Luke. We're heading there now. Send backup. Me and Ellie drove to the area near Route 62, looking for a warehouse with an eagle logo. After 20 minutes, we found it, an old, rusty warehouse with a small eagle logo on the door. 2 black SUVs were parked outside, and dim light spilled from the windows. I whispered to Ellie. Ellie, we've got to sneak in. If Ethan's in there, we've got to save him. Ellie nodded. Got it, Jack. But if this is a trap, we need to be ready. We slipped through the fence, hiding behind crates, and made our way to the back door. Inside, I saw Ethan, tied to a chair, his face covered in blood, with 2 guys in black standing guard. A tall guy with a British accent was on the phone. Madam V, we've got Ethan. He told Callahan about Operation Harvest Fall. What do you want us to do? Madam V's voice came through the speaker. Kill him, and send his body to Callahan's farm as a warning. The guy nodded. Understood, ma'am. He pulled a gun, aiming at Ethan's head. I couldn't wait any longer. I charged in, yelling, Stop! I punched the guy with the gun square in the face, sending him sprawling. Ellie threw a wooden crate at the second guy, knocking him off balance. Ethan, still tied up, shouted, Jack, watch out. There's more upstairs. Right then, 3 more guys came rushing down the stairs, guns in hand. I shoved Ethan to the floor, dodging a hail of bullets, while Ellie ducked behind a crate, yelling, Jack, we're outnumbered. I roared. Ellie, hold your ground. Luke's coming. But before Luke could get there, a loud bang echoed. A smoke grenade rolled in from the front door. Thick smoke filled the air, and I heard Madam V's voice through the phone speaker. Callahan, you can't save everyone, and you can't save yourself. When the smoke cleared, Ethan was still alive, but the 3 Echelon goons were gone, leaving behind a note. Next time, Callahan, you won't be so lucky. I cut Ethan's ropes, pulling him up. Ethan, you okay? We got here just in time. Ethan, panting, nodded. Jack, thank you. I thought I was done for. Madam V, she won't stop. She knows you're getting close, and she'll come for you, for your family. I nodded. I know. But we're not stopping, not while the Midwest is still under threat. You've got to help us. Ethan, what do you know about Madam V? Ethan shook his head. I've never met her, but I know she's got a nickname, the Viper. She's ruthless, and she never forgives traitors. Luke and Tara arrived right after, with 2 Dayton cops in tow. Luke looked around. Jack, you guys okay? They got away, but we'll track him down. I nodded. I'm good, Luke. Ethan's alive, but Echelon's stepping up their game. We've got to get ready, because next time, they won't miss. After that intense showdown at the warehouse in Columbus, me and Ellie brought Ethan Carter back to the Midwest, with Luke and Tara escorting us. Ethan was banged up, his face covered in bruises, his arm bleeding, but he was alive, and that meant we still had a chance to learn more about Echelon Group and Madame V, the Viper. But her threat kept echoing in my head. Callahan, you can't save everyone, and you can't save yourself. I knew Echelon wouldn't stop, not after we'd ruined their harvest sabotage plan and snatched Ethan from their clutches. We took Ethan to Luke's place, where Tara and 2 Dayton cops were still keeping watch. Sarah, holding a first aid kit, ran over. Jack, you okay? Ethan, he looks rough. I nodded. I'm fine, Sarah. Ethan's hurt, but he's alive, and he's got info we need. Sarah patched Ethan up while I called Grace and Dawn over for an emergency meeting. Once the whole team was there, I slapped the note Echelon left on the table. Y'all, Echelon almost got Ethan, and Madame V, the Viper, made a direct threat. She said I can't save everyone, but I'll be damned if I let them touch any of us. Ethan, despite the pain, spoke up. Jack, thank you for saving me. I thought I was a goner. Madame V, she's more ruthless than you can imagine. When I worked for Echelon, I heard her order the killing of an entire farmer's family in Iowa, just because they wouldn't sell their land. She won't stop. Not while you're still a threat. Luke frowned. Ethan, what do you know about Echelon's next move? If Madame V's coming for us, we need to be ready. Ethan nodded. I don't know the details, but I heard her mention Phase 3, a direct attack on the Midwest, targeting your alliance. She wants to destroy you, one by one, to make an example for other regions. Grace slammed her fist on the table. If that Viper chick shows up here, me and Maggie will show her what's what. Nobody messes with our Midwest. Maggie, hearing her name, let out a bah, making the group chuckle a bit, but the tension was still thick. Ellie jumped in. Jack, if Echelon's coming at us head-on, we've got to be ready. We need more traps, more patrols, maybe even get help from nearby counties. Dawn nodded. I'm with Ellie. I can reach out to farmers in the next county. If we've got more folks, Echelon won't stand a chance. I nodded. Good. Ellie, you and Grace set up more tripwire traps around the fields. We can't let them sabotage us again. Dawn, you call those other farmers. We need a bigger alliance than ever. Luke, you and Tara step up patrols. If Echelon shows up, we need to catch M in the act. Sarah asked. Jack, what about Ethan? Is he safe? I turned to Ethan. Ethan, you're staying here with Luke and Tara. We'll keep you safe. But you've got to help us. What do you know about Madame V's weaknesses? Ethan thought for a moment, then said, Madame V, she's arrogant. She always thinks she's untouchable, and she loves to handle things herself when it gets personal. If you make her mad enough, she'll come here, and that's your chance to catch her. I nodded. Then we'll make her mad. We'll leak your data to the press, let the whole country know what Echelon's up to. If Madame V wants to stop us, she'll have to come here herself. Luke frowned. Jack, that's a risky plan. If she shows up, she'll bring a whole team of mercenaries. We might not be able to handle M. I grinned. I know, Luke. But we've got the Chaos Goats, and we've got the Midwest spirit. We won't let M win. I called Cody right after. Cody, I need you to send Ethan's data to the press. Everything about Echelon, Operation Harvest Fall, their whole plan. We're going public. If Madame V wants to stop us, she'll have to come here. Cody typed away. Got it, Jack. I'll send it to a buddy at the Ohio Tribune. They'll publish it right away. But you've got to be careful. If Madame V shows up, she won't mess around. I nodded. I know, Cody. Do it as fast as you can. The next morning, the article went live in the Ohio Tribune with the headline, Echelon Group plots to sabotage Midwest farmers. Plan to control U.S. food supply exposed. The article quoted Ethan's USB data, detailing Operation Harvest Fall and Echelon's actions, from forcing Jenna Cole to sabotaging the harvest. The whole country was buzzing, and I knew Madame V wouldn't let it slide. Sure enough, that night, an anonymous email came through. Callahan, you just signed your own death warrant. I'm coming to the Midwest, and I'll finish you. Signed, the Viper. I froze. Madame V was coming, and she was pissed, just like Ethan said. I called the whole Midwest Alliance together at Grace's farm, showing them the email. Y'all, Madame V, the Viper, is coming to the Midwest. She wants to finish us. This is our biggest fight yet. But if we stick together, we can catch her and stop Echelon once and for all. Hank Miller stood up. Jack, I had my doubts about Ethan, but I trust you. We'll fight for the Midwest. The crowd cheered, and I felt the unbreakable spirit of our community. But right then, my phone rang, a number I didn't know. I picked up, and a deep voice came through. Jack Callahan? I'm the insider. I know about Echelon, and I know about the European Council behind Madam V. If you want to stop them, you'll need me. Meet me in London after you deal with the Viper. Note, this is the spot for a 3 to 5 second pause. Black screen, no sound, then resume. I was stunned. Who are you? Why should I trust you? He laughed. You don't have to trust me, but you'll need me. Good luck with the Viper, Callahan. He hung up. I looked at Maggie and the goats out in the yard, muttering. Maggie, you ready for the biggest fight yet? Madam V's coming. And after that, we might have to go to London. Maggie let out a baa, her curved horns glinting like she was ready. I knew, with the Alliance by my side, I could face anything, but the battle with Madam V would be the toughest yet. And that's a wrap for Episode 5 of HOA Karen Files. Ethan's been saved, the Midwest Alliance is stronger than ever, and we just threw down the gauntlet to Madam V, the Viper, for a massive showdown in the Midwest. But the drama's far from over. A guy calling himself the Insider just reached out, saying I'll need him in London to take down Echelon's European Council. Will Madam V fall into our trap? And who's this Insider, friend or foe? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the upcoming battle. And do you want Maggie to headbutt Madam V? Don't forget to smash that like button if you love the Chaos Goats, and hit subscribe with the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for watching. See y'all in the next drama.